And we've plugged to radio a few times, you know, and I'm not gonna get anyone in trouble or to call any names because that's not my style. There's some good individuals that work in all these places that do their best. But when I say you will not get a playlist if you're not talking about certain political issues, I'm not saying it hypothetically. I'm saying literally, radios have said, ooh, our compliance, ooh, this. Not you don't have an audience, not the music isn't good, not you're not popular, all of which I could accept, but all of which would be untrue. It's clear that I'm popular, it's clear that I do have an audience, and well, whether or not the music's good is subjective, right? But it's clear there's people who want to hear it. The next tour will be my 8th solo UK tour. I've performed in, at last count, I don't know, 48 countries around the world as an independent artist with no playlist. So clearly there's an audience. So it's not about serving a public audience. It's about what is and isn't deemed to be radio friendly. Now, radio friendly means inoffensive, safe, within a particular realm of musical and lyrical possibility. And I've made a decision, I'm not complaining by the way when I say that, I made a decision to make music that doesn't fit within that realm of possibility necessarily. Some of my songs do, but if you look at my larger body of work, if I become a pop star, we're opening people up to Murder Runs the Globe, to Yours and My Children, to Find No Enemy, to the original Fire in the Booth, to a whole body of work that questions power. And the media is part of power. You know, you look, I'll give you an example. This man who just crashed this plane, if you believe the official story, I'm not saying I believe the official story, but let's run with this for a minute. This guy crashes a plane full of people into a hill and murders 150 people in cold blood. That's the official story. Look how much more humanity he is being treated with in the media than young black kids that get shot by police. Yeah, young black boy gets shot. Trayvon Martin, it became about his hoodie. It became about the fact that he smoked weed. Mike Brown, it became about, oh, was he a bully, wasn't he? Even idiot, you know, African-American music artists and others started buying into this, oh, but he's a bully, or but this, or but that. I don't care what he did. I'm not even interested. The penalty is not death for any of those things. Yet, the media bought into this character assassination of all these murder victims. Yeah, a white guy can kill 150 people, probably predominantly white people, and yet gets treated like a human being. So when I say, that's just one example for race, but that applies to gender, applies to class, applies to loads of other ways in which media controls the way we think and the way we act. And radio is no different or no exception to that. In the 30 years I've been alive, bar Public Enemy, there has been no politically radical hip hop on the daytime playlist in this country ever. Is that because no politically radical rappers have been popular? No, Immortal Technique was immensely popular in 2003, 2004. He's still popular now. Low Key was undeniably popular in 2011. 5 million YouTube views on one video. Was he on the radio? No. And we could give example after example. Dead Prez, you know, with hip hop had a little bit of mainstream success, but even M1 told me himself, that record never got played on radio in America. They played Mind Sex a bit, but it's bigger than hip hop, didn't get the radio spins that it got here in the States because it was talking about political issues there. And in fact, even when that album came out, the stores put a sticker over the cover because it had, you know, young kids in Soweto with the guns, right? So it wasn't the guns that they had a problem with. So I say all of that to say, I don't get upset by not being on mainstream radio. I made a decision to make music that isn't acceptable to mainstream radio. If ever I break that barrier, I have now 6 CDs of music that I own all the masters to. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what happens when you get one mainstream hit or your back catalogue sells. So for me, even on a business level, Bob Marley was on his 11th album before he blew up, and he's way more talented than I am. And I give people these examples. So no, I don't really. Would it be nice to be exposed to a wider audience? For sure. But do I get the game, and have I made the decisions to play the game within certain parameters? Also. But we have plugged a few times. I just got to a stage where I decided it wasn't worth. The way the music industry works, people don't know. You pay someone thousands of pounds, and I mean literally thousands of pounds, to take your song to their mates who are the DJs at the big radio stations in the country, to get their opinion. That's all you're getting. That's the only guarantee. You're not getting nothing for your thousands of pounds. You're getting, this is their opinion. And they can either say yes or no, take it or leave it, we like it or we don't like it. And you've paid, as an independent artist, grands for that privilege, because there's only certain pluggers that the radio stations will even entertain or listen to. So I just figured it was no longer sensible. I did that 7, 8, 9 times, and I was like, right, when I look at the bread I've been spending on plugging, I could spend it on videos, I could spend it on improving my touring audience, or I could just keep the money and it will probably be put to better use. And so we decided that wasn't the strategy anymore. If it happens that way organically, cool. If not, I feel like we've got a model now based around online, based on social networks, based on word of mouth, that is effective, and it makes, I mean, even on a cold business level, it makes money. It sells tickets, it sells albums, and I have to spend very little of my own money to do that now because I have an audience. So it doesn't make any sense for me to try and compete with Interscope or Sony because clearly I can't compete with them on that level.